I have a lot of clients that ask me questions about when am I going to be eligible to drive, and will I have to have the BAID device installed in my car? If you have one DUI, you typically won't need to have a breathalyzer installed. So if you picked up your first DUI in Wisconsin or Indiana, which I've had hundreds of clients do, those hearings are called informal hearings, and we'll have a video on that as well. But they don't need the breathalyzer. If you have two DUIs or more, the vast majority of those clients need to have a breathalyzer installed in their car if you live in Illinois by the Secretary of State. So we're going to have a hearing. After that hearing, you get granted. Then you put the breathalyzer in your car, and at that point, as long as you don't have problems with that, we can take you into a hearing at the end of the permit phase to try to get you up for that full reinstatement. And if we're successful on the permit and you don't have any violations, it's 98, 99% success rate of getting full reinstatement, so long as you don't have any complications with it. Now, if you have two DUI convictions or more and you live in the state of Illinois, then you have to have a breathalyzer device in your car for potentially 5 years. So it doesn't mean if you have two DUIs or more, it's two DUI convictions. So I've had numerous clients with 3 or 4 DUIs that had one where they beat it, one where they got a reckless driving and they got court supervision on one of them. So that does not reflect two convictions. But if you have two convictions or more, it's a 5-year breathalyzer permit. And those permits basically start the same. It's just a little bit longer time frame. And at the end of those 5 years, we've had success. Again, as long as there's not any problems while the client's on the breathalyzer device, the success rate is almost 100% of getting them up and getting full reinstatement. I should note that if you live out of state, there's never a requirement to have a breathalyzer installed into your car through the Secretary of State. It's either thumbs up, you're granted, and they lift the hold off your record, or thumbs down, you're not eligible for it and you can't go in. So the number one thing we have to be careful for with these breathalyzer devices is if the client lives out of state, are they past their full reinstatement eligibility date? Most of the time, if you live in Illinois, you will have an almost immediate eligibility date for that hearing. The hard time rule that the Secretary of State used to have, where you would not be allowed to go into a hearing until a certain amount of days or certain date or year, that hard time requirement is now mostly gone. And if you live in Illinois, you should look at starting the process immediately, because most likely we'll be able to get you up and driving within typically 4 to 6 months.